patch is this. So this is the newest patch, which is, well, it's not 3.7, it's 3.6.
Yeah, it's 3.6, but the late
Because
version.
yes, because we did go through the hotfix. It was a slight reboot of the old patch because the hotfix actually removed the customization of item sets, but everything else has been applied in terms of the changes. So it is a slight reroll in terms of just removing the item customizations sets in your profile, but everything else has been updated in terms of the changes that was released with the patch notes before this.
TF's global ultimate cooldown now is
Increased to increased by about 40 seconds at level 1, I think.
and also um, his other skill that used to reduce his cooldowns.
Oh, with this cooldowns is now
increasing
just
attack.
increased attack speed only. It doesn't get the additional magic damage, I believe. Or does it still have it?
Um,
I haven't tried Twisted Fate,
yeah, I
so
have not played Twisted Fate after he was actually patched out. Game. Twisted Fate will be picked up in the game regardless, even if the game has crashed right now. It will have to be the same champions picked up as it's win. So it's going to be a real quick pickup, and we're going to go right into the game. We apologize for the delay. We'll go right into this. Again, technical problems in the morning. We had a little bit of this. It's not really from our side. It's kind of when you do an offline tournament, this kind of thing happens. So right now, SF5 the AHQ, game's gonna start soon. So do stay tuned. Now would be a perfect time to actually get down and get your popcorn. Or if you have forgotten a drink, go grab it right now. It's gonna take maybe 2 or 3 minutes, and we'll be back into the game. Do tell us what you want to hear from us in the chat. Once again, I'm VPCommander, and with me is Teddy Tibbs.
Relativers. Yeah, so we're going to move back to the champion section screen just to show you guys. It's going to go through the same bans and picks, so no problems from there. But overall, in the team composition, I have seen how the Koreans normally they play very reactive on what happens on the spot. Sometimes you see their lineup is a bit solo queue-ish. Like you just pick the best champions and you just go in and trash people. But it has worked so well for the Korean scene overall. Like they don't go for very strong AoE CC in the entire team, but maybe 1 or 2 is just nice so the other team can follow up.
To answer Joseph XP2210, when can we have the first item set?
Well, during the next patch, when everything has been fixed, when it doesn't cause any more bugs and for the things to crash on our client, and then the item set should be back up. Because a lot of people are having problems with the client in terms of it crashing or the game's not loading properly. It had to do with the item set changes. So that's why we have rewrote the patch slightly and removing that set of changes.
When you roll something out, it's always this tendency that it has a potential problem that that the producers oversee during production. So it happens from time to time. Its tendency is there. And look at this. Everything has been picked up. It's back into the champion select. Let's go back into Rise's runes and masteries. Actually check out what masteries he did pick up for Rise.
Oh, it's actually good to be very defensive. So he just wants to play a safe game in farming in the early game. So how do you feel about that actually?
16-12 pickup is actually kind of good with that tenacious 3 ranks on it. 15% reduction in crowd control. The cocoon is going to be a problem for Rise if he ever gets a combo being pulled up on him. He's not a natural top laner. He's more of a mid laner. And this time he's playing on the top lane. He needs to adjust for the fact that it's a long lane. And they're gonna need a little bit more sustain.
I mean, Rise does have a strong crowd control, but it only works on a single target. Even though it's an instant cast, instantly you get it off. But the main problem lies in when 2 people jump onto him. When he does not reach level 6 yet, he has a problem in sustaining and fighting back overall. Because he needs extra AoE coming up for his ultimate to deal the damage and then sustaining back the HP, which is one of the main reasons why Rise is so strong overall.
Yeah, I'll be looking for Lantier playing Javan to actually go on the top lane and disturb Rise at the start. As you said, Rise is more of a late game base, and during the early game phase, he's not going to do so well. He has a few skills that's not going to be able to chain as well as he wants it to be. And that's going to put him behind, especially if you can push Rise through this trash hole at the early game. He will most definitely fall off on the late game. But if you let him farm, it's going to be a problem. At the bottom lane, we have concentrate so much on top lane, we have kind of neglected the threat that Trash and Graves actually provide in a team fight. And even in the laning phase itself, if Graves goes forward with the quick draw into the buckshot, the death sentence lands on especially Ezreal Ezreal is a very frail champion. He starts with a very low HP pool, he gets very little HP per level, and if Graves can pull a combo off together with Trash, the damage will be more than enough to actually take down Ezreal, especially when it's a level 6, 7, or even up to level 9.
Yes. So as you mentioned about the bottom lane just now, so I wonder what Trash is going to max first. Is it going to be the Dark Passage? Is it going to be the Death Sentence or the Flame? Because all this while after the changes on Trash, some people go for the extra sustain from the barrier, some go for the cooldown reduction on the Death Sentence, or go for the
extra damage from Flay.
yeah from Fear.
Yeah,
So
which I think he will pick up Flay. As I said before,
yes.
Ezreal's HP pool is pathetic.
And it's also going to be a great thing because overall the combination of Graves and Trash, you really want to land the hook so the buckshot can land in the face, but the main problem will lie within how much damage can be output. So I used to say a lot when we see a Graves, it's best to have a support like Sona so you can add on the damage dealt. So Graves, after a lot of nerfs and changes, he's still very tanky, still a strong champion that can get in your face to deal the damage, but with the overall changes, it doesn't get in your face, do a dark shot. If it's only a single shot that hits, it's
not
going
gonna
to be
that.
just like a
We've
normal
seen many
hit.
Graves,
Not gonna be that
if you have
much.
been watching the spring season finals, Graves was picked up for a few games, did not do as much as damage as he could have, and definitely, yes, as you said, Graves, he needs to land at least 2 of the buck shots in his face, and if you can land all 3, of course, that will be optimal.
Okay, that will be fantastic, but it's very
especially
hard.
now we have Janna with the Howling Gale to actually protect her carry, and if Ezreal actually do get caught on with Ezreal's frail HP, Janna can add it on with her shield.
Yes, they also have the Eye of the Storm as well as the Monsoon to help out with Ezreal. So we will see though the skin being picked up from it's going to be TPA Ezreal. So he's going to use the finger shots.
Blast
So
it
to
from the
speak.
tip of your finger, and we also have the statue of Carter's skin. I really like that one. Look at that. It's just ironic. Look at the face. Everything. It's so,
Ironic.
so virtuous yet evil, which is kind of a thing. Kind of a
Kind of your thing.
going
Kind
on.
of a cute thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Or you because when you visit the United States, you're gonna see this statue and think
Carter's.
the Statue of Liberty is actually Carter's in disguise. You know,
Carter's
we will see Raccoon coming out very
immediately
soon.
a boss being thrown out.
Yeah, so I believe it's going to be a slight connection issue, which normally happens in early stages. They're just waiting for everything to balance down in terms of the internet line, and they're going to move on with the game very quickly from there.
Looking at the composition right now, would you think AHQ will actually initiate invade?
Let's see. I believe they have. You have Trash, and you have Jarvan, you have the extra side, and from Elise you have the Cocoon. So if you manage to catch someone off guard, that'd be great. But if you meet the entire team of SF5 though, you won't want to run into a Room Prison, a Dredge Line, or even Yellow Card from Twisted Fate. If the chain CCs happen in the favor of SF5 first, then they will be able to kill someone much easier. So it all lies in how the teams move on and about. We have seen some protection or some late invades going on. It's a more recent trend, like you invade a bit later because you want to make sure that you are able to maintain a lead in terms of, because they do a lane swap, the lane invade. For example, sorry, let me be more specific with that. For example, if you're on the purple team, you go for the late invade because you do a lane swap at the same time.
Okay.
So normally, in the blue buff, you will have the jungler in the top lane helping out. And then if you go in with the support and the AD carry, it's a 2-on-2 scenario, and you can just delay the taking of blue buff and at the same time delay the top lane from returning to lane, so you won't lose out that much. And at the same time, they could start from Wraiths before going for the invade, and they boost up the EXP from there. So these are like the few steps, a few things going on about, or who knows, the 5-man invade still works. Hopefully, we might see it happen later
We
on.
might see nothing happen at all, and everything just falls into a standard game. We'll see how it goes, how these teams decide to actually pull off their early phase. We have talked
Yes.
a lot about individual lanes. What do you think in terms of composition when a team fight happens? What are your predictions on just composition alone, which team actually has the upper hand?
It depends on who gets a better engage. Like I have mentioned before, the single target CC coming out from SF5 is not to be trifled with, because when one of the especially for when you play against Rise, his Rune Prison is instant. It doesn't have a cast time. Once you once you get locked down, instantly locked down. And if you fall out of a yellow card with a Leech Bane, it's like tons of damage being chained onto you. If you're not a tank or if you don't have that much MR, you're gonna get chunked down. Especially for the AD carry, that's the most scary thing. When you see Twisted Fate with a Leech Bane and you see him pick a card, you want to make sure you stay at the correct range or you'll be able to burst him down as he throws a card in mid animation before it hits onto you. You want to make sure you kill him first.
Yeah, just the problem is getting to the AD, but once he's there, he's gonna devastate. Whichever AD it is,
shut down
any
Devastator very
AD will
easily.
not be able to survive the combo between a Rise and a TF, as you said earlier.
Yes.
So definitely comes down to execution, how both of these teams can actually pull out what they plan
Yes.
to pull out.
Because I believe that TQ will be going for blue as a build, so it's going to go for more poke-oriented comp. So Twisted Fate is quite good at poking overall, but he needs a lot of AP to do that. So nobody after Leech Bane, you either see a Zonya or Rabadon's Death Cap, depending on how they plan to play it. We might see a Zonya coming out though, because there's Carters with the Requiem, as well as the potential of die coming up from Elise and Jarvan. Or, the famous Twisted Fate, you teleport in and you use Zonya to bait the opponent.
Yeah, and Twisted Fate is a champion that does not have a natural escape. If his ultimate's down, Destiny is down. Even if you use Destiny, it's gonna have to take a little bit of a cast time. Not a very reliable escape mechanism over there. So Twisted Fate having a Zonias after the Lich Bane is actually a good pickup, but if he is in the leading team, if they are on a position where they can force their will onto AHQ, possibly see a TF actually picks up Rabadon.
And with Twisted Fate, he's going to work like a Shen. He has great split push potential and the capability of taking down towers easily. Magic damage just chunks down tower turrets so easily. So we will have seen Sai reconnected, so the game should resume shortly. There shouldn't be any more problems, hopefully. I mean,
You already
don't jinx
did.
it.
Oh well. Yeah, so the game should continue on as usual. We're just waiting for the resume button to be pressed. Beep. And
Yes. So this is definitely going to be an exciting match. So against the team that SF5 has chosen, can they maintain the early game to transition to the late game? I mean, from the side of HQ, you have Carters, which is one of the the best late game champions because he has still disconnected. So Carters is simple. You do as much damage as you can when you're alive, and then after you die, you still have additional 8 seconds to deal as much damage as you would like.
when it comes down to Carters, it's about picking where you die. It's not about whether you die or not. It's about how you die, where you die. If you die in the middle of an entire team, that's the place you want to be. You can kill your head proud to die in such a place. Just dealing damage there. And the resume button has been pressed.
Yes, so finally we're going to get into the game. And as you were talking about that, with Jarvan's Cataclysm, if no one has Flash ready on the side of the SF5, it's going to be easy pickings for Carters. As you mentioned, he's going to flash right into the Cataclysm, or he's just going to damage them from afar outside with the Wall of Pain, using the armor magic resist, and then doing even more damage. So here we see the pings coming up. We might see a invade though coming from the SF5. They might be going up to the top side to the raid.
It might be a 5-man invade indeed on the top lane, but no, Janna moves towards the bottom jungle.
Yes.
So if anything, it's going to be a 4-man invade.
I apologize for the camera just now. It was a slight problem with it, and now it's been settled. So we're going to see both teams invade. So AHQ is going to go for the blue because as Nautilus, you want to start from the blue. It is better for you overall because of the long cooldowns you get at the levels and the quick ward being planted by Green Tea. And they're going to spot Sai out of this. Will he be able to be chunked down? No, he flashes away in an instant.
Yeah, if Green Tea had actually flashed into a death sentence and actually hooked onto Janna, Janna will be dead. But as it is, nothing's happening. They are just going to fall back to their standard formation. I think Jarvan is actually going to start up here at red. We'll see how that actually goes. So Pink Gust go down to see if...
So SF5 is still going to go for the invade. It's going to be a slightly later invade. They're going to catch out Jarvan and the raid buff, as you mentioned.
Yeah, but they need to be careful. Janna does not have flash.
Yes.
And knowing that, she can actually be easily singled out on the fight.
They're actually going to go for the raid, not going to wait for the raid buff. So here we will see Jarvan alone. But in the end, they decided to change their targets.
No, they have not
Wow.
changed the target. They will be
But I mean-
waiting in there.
Yes, they have changed the
Yeah, just
location, sorry.
And little do they know, Trash and Graves is actually at the top lane. It's gonna be a lane switch, and the Golems go. Oh, Graves actually being down here. This is gonna be a surprise. But it was the wrong card. It wasn't the Sun card going up, but it's a slow card. And immediately, Clans being picked up. Trash is still alive. But will he be dead for long? He still has his flash, I believe, but no. First blood does happen onto Trash. Twisted Fate grabs that, but he is in a compromising position now. Force the flash off. He's a little bit ignited there. He's just going to go back, take back on what he had actually gained, and that was a first blood. And that's nothing to be scoffed at this point of time, especially for a mid lane, a champion like Twisted Fate. If he snowballs, he can gank any lane as so he wish.
Yes. But I think Violet went a bit too balls deep when he was facing against Carters. You know, you can't face the Carters one-on-one, especially when he has lay waste. He's going to do double damage to you. He stayed there a bit too long. He should have backed off earlier, so he need to waste a flash. So mid lane, Twisted Fate, just like Carters, without a flash, the jungler is going to camp you. The jungler has great potential and it's easy to catch you off guard. If you don't have your pick a card ready, they're just going to go all in onto you. And here we will see though, 8 going to catch onto Green Tea after taking the red buff. He's just going to apply some pressure and going to move back to his blue, but no, Jarvan is actually going to go for it because of the wards that they have up top. So we're going to wait to see what happens
Let's
here.
take a step back and see actually how both teams are going to fare at this situation. As you can see, Twisted Fate did get the first blood at the cost of both his summoner spells. On the side of AHQ, Cartus have his flash down. On the side of Green Tea, he has his flash down as well. So we can a little bit of a fight going on at the blue buff. It's gonna be a standoff, a little bit of a Mexican standoff. Both just flexing their muscles.
Yes, they're gonna delay the blue buff as long as possible as they can.
Yeah,
They're gonna
it will be
stop
fun if they
something.
spend 10 minutes actually going about for this blue buff, and it would seem that SF5 is gonna give up it, but a good hook just land into Westdoor. But wow, Twisted Fate without his summoners up, it's gonna fall really quickly, and Navy might fall with him as well. Carter's use lay waste. The dragon lands a little bit of a mistake there, but Graves picks it up and takes the kill. So 2 kills going on the side of AHQ, and they're gonna get their reward, which is the blue buff. And it's a big deal to have that blue buff.
Yes. But now the problem lies at the bottom lane though. We see TQ and Sai, they have the freedom of pushing all they wanted. The tower is actually less than 50% health at the bottom lane, and they're going to take this down very quickly. They're going to quickly regain a slight advantage in the overall objective because of the time spent at the blue buff. So SF5 started out great, but they gave away a slight advantage in terms of the kills we have seen. But now at the bottom lane, how fast can TQ take this tower is the main question, and whether Jarvan will come in to help him or he was going to focus head up the top lane as well.
Oh, a nice death sentence does get land on to Violet. Violet taking half of the hit points and damage and not dealing as much in return, so this is going to be a problem for Violet. It seems that Ryze have gone to the middle lane, leaving Twisted Fate to face off against the dual lane. What do you think about this switch?
I'm not sure why the switch happened, but I believe that because the wave clear from Ryze is not strong, so that's why they opt to let Twisted Fate go up top instead. But Twisted Fate just took a chunk of damage, and without his flash, he is going to be very vulnerable. Especially if Jarvan came in to gank after completing the wave earlier, it could have been a potential kill as well as a tower being brought down.
As well as the constant threat of a possible death sentence. If a death sentence does land on, as you said, flash is down, Twisted Fate is going to be sitting duck to the aggression of the dual lane, but in the bot lane, the SF5 have successfully taken down that tower really quickly, and Egg just coming in to just give Violet a bit of a breathing room. He has been a little bit pressured. Look at him, his mana is low, his HP is low, he doesn't have flash. It's a grim situation to be what TF is facing right now.
Yes, but in overall situation, we will see the SF5 is going to stick on pushing and applying pressure down at the bottom lane while they're going to allow the jungler to stay up top.
Yeah, for how long SF5 can continue this, I'm not so sure, as Janna's MP is really low. And as I say that, they recalled home, probably going to pick up a few items. It's going to be a little bit harder for Elise when they do come back, especially when their bottom tower is already gone. Not much space for Elise to actually farm safely, and we do hear a little bit of complaints about the lag. They're trying to fix that as soon as possible. It might be an issue on our side? Possibly. Our producer is working round the clock, really hard, just to make sure this doesn't happen, and we're gonna resolve this really quickly. So once again, we apologize, but we will get back into the game momentarily.
So we will see the lane swap happen back. We see Ezreal and Janna actually trying to sneak at the side, trying to land a 4-man, I would say a 4-man fight against 2 champions, but Trash, Mr. Elbis and Green Tea decide to back off. Not going to apply more pressure to the tower earlier, so we're going to see whether this 2v2 is going to end up. But as this happens, we will see though AHQ actually going to engage onto Dragon immediately down bot, because they had the percentage damage coming out from Prides on Elise, as well as Jarvan is doing a great job with the attack speed and the layways on the single target. Just quickly melting the Dragon, taking it at the 7-minute mark. So this is going to be a great gain for the South HQ. We can see the tower trade, as I mentioned, is going to lead SF5 back into the lead, but with the Dragon being taken.
Egg just got caught off a little bit on the side there. He wasn't expecting both Prides and Lantier to be at the corner. He thought he was the ganker, but in the end he was the gankee. And your poor soul counter-ganked right there. Nothing much he could really do about it. He did not have his summoners. He didn't have the time to use his flash. And also a problem on the side of SF5 is they do not have the dragon timer. In their screen, they're seeing the dragon as untouched. They do not know the time.
Yes, they haven't cleared the dragon area yet, actually, but it's not going to be that big of a problem overall, just that they won't be able to react as fast in comparison to SF5. In comparison to AHQ. So SF5, but if they manage to take on the 3 first-tier turrets within the next few minutes, they are going to be able to spot out the movements of AHQ very easily and then guess when the dragon is about to respawn.
Yeah, despite the tower lead on the side of SF5, the gold lead lies solidly in AHQ's favor. We have 1,000 gold difference at this point of time from the kills and that early dragon.
Yes. So here we will see Prides, after going back to base, he picks up the pink ward. Actually, he picks up 2 pink wards. He wants to make sure he strips the opponent of sight. And this is actually a war of pink wards. We do see Grace buying a pink ward for the team. Green Tea pick the side stone, also carrying his own pink ward. And wow, HQ just wants to remove every single visual or sight on the map away from SF5.
Well said. And also on the top lane, SF5 cannot continue this as Ezreal is out of MP, and if he's out of MP, he cannot arcane shift away, and that's very dangerous for an Ezreal. As we said, he's a very frail champion and he requires some sort of escape going on. Janna returns as well. This top lane, we can see it's more of AHQ's game, because AHQ has been staying there for quite some time due to the lane switch.
Yes, and even though, as Johanna says, we will see again coming down bottom, though the flash from Navy will save him. The vacuum is used as well just to make sure they secure the kill, but the knockup did not happen, so they did not apply enough damage onto Ryze. So that was a great escape from Navy.
Yeah, but it was a great flash. It did happen in the process of how I would say, I can't slip my mind. Oh yes, the Demartian standard and the Dragon lands as it was about to go towards Twisted Fate. Twisted Fate immediately flashes away mid-animation. Great job there.
So here we will take a closer look. Overall, control of the lane is in the favor of SF5 for every single lane so far. We see all the pink wards being planted, the site being removed. You can see there's only 2 wards up top and near the mid area, but overall for the side of HQ, they have the pink wards planted in the opponent's jungle as well, and they know clearly they'll be able to spot out any ganks coming up from Nautilus, from the mid lane, or from the side.
And let's just take a look at how all the lanes are doing. Twisted Fate 70 CS with a kill, Cartus 1 kill and 106 CS with a 30 CS lead in the lane. He has already picked up his Rod of Ages. It's just gonna get strong. Now about a gank at the bottom lane. They know SF5 Navy does not have his flash, but that ultimate from Twisted Fate just saved the day.
Yes, and a quick reaction from Prides. We thought he would wrap her backwards and walk with Jarvan, but he went even further away. Without damage to take him off, but no, it will not be enough. The ultimate comes out as well, but Lantier and Vesdor is there waiting for him, and Egg is forced to flash away as well. Yeah. And in terms of advantage gain though, I'll put it in the favor of HQ still, because they have applied overall pressure with Saigon Pacific 5 overall. Like Violet, when he went for the gank, it's for defensive, trying to pick up the kill because they die, but not like he's ganking somewhere and they secured something.
Yeah, they removed the threat of Twisted Fate's global ultimate, and on the top lane, we see what a nice death sentence going in. 2Q immediately being chunked down. That's probably gonna be a kill once the barrier is gone. Will Ignite be enough? No, it won't. 2Q survives by just a threat of HP, but it's a great play there on the side of AHQ. Green Tea's death sentence was spot on, expending all the summoner spells on the side of Ezreal, forces Janna to use a lot to protect his AD carry, but in the end, they managed to do what they managed to do, which is survive.
Yes, and Violet though, because he wants to pick up every single CS, has been taking a lot of blade waste, and Westdoor has been spot on with the overall damage output on his lane waste. We can see that he has pushed Twisted Fate away from his lane so many times. He is at a level lead as well, and here we will see though again go on. Westdoor is going to get stopped by Egg, but here everyone's ready to respond. But here Navy comes in from the back. The Rune Freezer will land onto Westdoor, and everyone's out of range from Westdoor. They will secure the kill onto Egg though. They still chase onto Westdoor. Westdoor might survive on this. And yes, he does. I can't believe it. And they secured the kill onto 8. It was a 3v2, but you know.
Yeah, on the
Westdoor
very
was
last hit, it
just
failed
alive.
to convert it into a kill. But wow, that could have happened a different way altogether. If Karthus did not flash away, he would have died immediately. And Karthus does not have his ultimate out. Now he does, but it's a little bit too late. Navy might be in a little bit of a problem. If Cocoon lands, the Requiem will finish him off. So Navy needs to be very careful about what he's doing right now. And at the bottom lane, while all of this is happening, AHQ, Alvis is just happy to take the bottom lane tower.
He's happy pounding onto it. Here we will see Lante runs into side. He just lands the normal attack but fallbacks after that. And so quickly though, we did see the first tower taken by SF5, but they could not convert it into any sort of advantage. And very quickly, we see that AHQ is just taking down everything else and advantage. Here we see a 1v1 up top. Tries by land the kill, but we do see the Valkyrie coming out. He's going to give the kill to Westdoor, and here Egg tries to save GQ, but it's not going to be enough. Egg manages to escape from the cocoon. It was so close, I thought it was going to hit at max range, and here very
Yeah, well, her damage does scale a lot with levels alone. She doesn't really need the AP to be a strong damage dealer at this point of time, especially around at the levels of 9 and 10, which is right now. And Karthus just abusing his ability to dish out damage from far. And
Your team's turret has been destroyed. Killing spree. Purple team's turret has been destroyed.
foul, so we cut off from top of but everything should be back up overall. So hopefully everything is fine. So here we were talking, this time when we were talking about the exciting fight that happened just now, sorry, though our voices were wasted because of a slight technical issue on the sound. But overall, we will see though that as mentioned earlier on, AHQ is just taking every single advantage they have, just bullying them out with the overall champions they have chosen. And since now we have the time, I was going to explain. Someone asked on the Twitch chat why most ADCs in GPL will go for Bloodthirster rather than Blade of the Rune King. So this is actually quite simple. A Blade of the Rune King, I will have to say, sucks in team fights most of the time. Unless you are an AD carry that does not have great escape capabilities, we normally opt to skip Blade of the Rune King and go for Bloodthirster. Because Bloodthirster provides overall on-hit damage and sure damage that will be dealt out, as well as the ability to buff up your overall skill set skills. Especially since Graves, all his skills on attack damage is going to be so great. And here we will see the price going to be caught out of position by both Navy and Violet, but they do spend a lot to just catch them, and instantly AHQ is going to respond to this and going to move on to the Baron actually. And this is going to be a great pickup for them. It's going to be 1 kill for the Baron.
Yeah, they're a little bit far off to actually take Baron, and then they abandoned Baron. They saw Egg and lurking inside the bushes, immediately picks him down. Look at his gold worth, 182 right now. That's because he has 4 deaths and just 37 CS. His level is low. Nautilus is falling really behind there. And that's 1 kill for 1 kill, a 1 for 1 trade. Not too bad on the side. Right?
The Baron wasn't successful, but they still got a kill out of it because of the great wards they had. So this is still in HQ's favor. They got the kill, they took out the main jungler, which is a tank as well for the south, SF5, and they're going to apply a lot of pressure onto this tower. You can see they're just ignoring Ryze, Twisted Fate, and Ezreal at this point of time, because overall they do not have enough damage yet. Ezreal only has Blizzard Elder, and his poke damage that's coming up is just not enough to scare people away just yet.
As we have said earlier, Ryze is kind of a champion that wants to go into the late game, but AHQ is not allowing that. AHQ is pushing their early game advantage on this, and will Trash actually get caught out here?
Nope, he is actually just a bait. Price is going to save him, and they just locked down the kill onto Egg. Not going to give the kill away this time, but we will see Sai almost going down, but the Monsoon will be able to save him. And see, that was just another great take-up coming out from the side of AHQ, and SF5 is just so far behind. We see Nautilus trying to complete a single to build it up. So it's like, you can see from there so far. I look at that, we say I'll be just hiding in the brushes, waiting for Ryze, someone to walk in, and instant burst damage coming
so Albus wasn't actually waiting, he was actually going towards the creep. It just so happened while Ryze appeared. Kill Ryze.
Sorry, I think I mistaken. I thought I saw him waiting in the brush because I was looking at someone else at that point of time. Thank you for correcting me.
Yeah, so
and just to mention, if that item was a Blade of Rune King, that won't happen. Because the burst damage coming up is not that great. The Blade of Rune King is only great for one-on-one duels to kite people away. Instead of a Bloodthirster, we use the great burst damage coming up, and this is going to be a free Baron for the side of HQ. There are 8 kills ahead, almost 10k gold lead, 8k right now, and it's very quickly going to stack up even further. And I don't believe we will be able to see SF5 come back from this, unless they're going to be able to manage to catch people off guard one by one together with Ryze and Twisted Fate's lockdown combination. I
actually would like to add on the Blade of Rune King. Carries that actually scale well with attack speed will want to pick up the Blade of Rune King. Not only can they survive, they actually do damage. Blade of Rune King does
better damage.
That extra attack speed. So for champions like Vayne, Kog'Maw, the Blade of Rune King will be excellent pickup. But for champions like Caitlyn, the Bloodthirsters is actually a better pickup in terms of the ability to do damage right out, because both her Ace of the Hole and the Blade over Facemaker just scale with flat AD and not attack.
So much better.
So just heading on that, and now with the Baron buff, I feel AHQ will just barrel down mid, push their advantage, take this weak turret in the middle, and that's going to happen without SF5 having any say into it. SF5 wants to say no. Sentence land on, but nothing is going to come out of it. Ezreal was stuck into the tree there, he can't really get hooked closer to the enemy, but definitely a really good death sentence, just putting the fear factor into Ezreal. And 2 shots will actually do this. The shield delays the inevitable, but look at SF5 Egg. Look at how fast he's being chunked down, and he's level 9. And look at his Karthus being the first target of the fight. TQ did not take that down, but Karthus did fall. Mr. Elvis is a little bit low as well, but he has the Baron buff. His regeneration is great, and he's gonna take down yet another champion. It's gonna be a 1 for 3. Even Karthus, who died in the exterior of the fight, did nothing during the fight, and AHQ still won. So AHQ is looking really, really strong right now, and they're probably going to take this middle inhibitor. There's nothing Rise can do. He's a little bit too weak at this point. He only has a Rod of Ages, which hasn't had the time to stack up properly.
Oh, and that Death Sentence just landing onto Egg and almost max range through the Cocoon follow-up and instant burst coming up. You can even see though, as you mentioned, Navy has given up protecting the mid lane. He went down the bot lane. He planted a wall to spot anyone that's going to try and catch him. He says he really knows that he can't defend against it. He's just going to move away and just secure the CS and farm up even more and try to get into the stage of the late game to deal enough damage. We see he has picked up the Roar of Ages, going to move into Seraph's Embrace very soon, most probably. And will that be enough?
Yeah, and we do apologize for the lag once again. We're trying to fix that issue. We do realize there's going to be a little bit spiky. We have a computer looking at it as well. So it is kind of spiky. But I hope that actually gets on quick. As for Joseph asking about if Blade of the Rune King or Bloodthirster is better on Varus, I feel personally Bloodthirster will be a better choice because he does get that extra attack speed every time he kills a creep and the greater attack speed when he kills a champion. So,
it depends on your playstyle. Bloodthirster gives you the better damage, but as you mentioned, Varus can go both ways. Varus also has on-hit procs on his Blighted Arrows, which works with Blade of the Rune King. And normally we see a lot of LCS players or pro players, they all pick it up. But here we will see though, Westor is actually going to dive onto Violet. And he will get stunned, he'll get locked out of Root Prison. They will secure another kill of the Westlaw. Yes, they will, but it's going to be a 2-for-1 exchange. And Westlaw again sacrifices himself for his team as Karthus. And going back about Varus, as I mentioned, some pro players will buy Blade of the Rune King, because it is a better pickup in terms of the overall damage. But look at that, the burst damage coming out onto it, and they're going to jump. Lantern is actually going to jump very straight onto side with the Cataclysm. There's nowhere for him to go. Look at the chunks of damage coming from Mr. Albis with the Phantom Dancer, Bloodthirster, and Last Whisper just totally chunk anyone down in their face. No matter how tanky you are at this point of time, and there's no one that tanky on the side of SF5.
I feel this is going to be GG. Lights out for SF5. AHQ is probably going to take this game. SF5, when he fell at the top lane just now, I'm not sure if it was a mistake, it was like 82 gold. That's how behind Egg is, how behind Nautilus actually is. You see his level, only at level 10.
And look at that, see with the Valkyrie coming on, might be enough to burst down all of them, but no, the follow-up damage coming out is a bit slow, but they will secure the kill onto Ezio. Mr. Albis is now legendary, they're going to put on more pressure. Price secures the kill onto side. Oh sorry, it's not actually onto Navy and going to push on even further, but we might see though Mr. Albis go down, but nope, he is just going to be bad. Both stands there and fights all of them. In the end, exhaust from side is a bit slow. He really secured the kill onto Violet, and there's nothing Egg and Sai can do. Just watching as see the wall even coming from side, but look at that, the hook coming in. Price might go down, but no, he has the Zonia Hourglass. He baits that hook, he hits onto someone else, and we will see this be a game taken by AHQ with so many kills and so many things.
So AHQ just maintains their undefeated record. They do have that big hurdle tomorrow, but as of now, they can go home and sleep with the fact that they are undefeated in this current
Yes, and even in the end game, Westlaw actually bought a Magi just to stack it up because he was in the base. So we're going to move into the score screen to take a quick look at the overall items, a last look at the items, as well as the difference in terms of overall CS and goal coming out from this game for SF5 against AHQ.
Yeah, going into the score screen, I think it's kind of an annihilation. Kind of a ruffle stomping going on by AHQ. They have 23 kills to the 5 of their opponent. In terms of goal, everyone on the side AHQ is healthy in terms of the goal count, and SF5, especially Egg, is just so behind, even less goal than what Janna have. And if you have a little bit lesser goal than what your support have, it's a display of how behind you actually were. It actually comes down to that blue buff. Nautilus was denied the blue buff really, really early in the game, and Nautilus is a champion that uses mana, and he utilizes mana and cooldowns a lot.
So this is going to be game 1 for tonight. You can see it was just I wouldn't say it was a major stomp overall when we reached into the mid game. We did see SF5 secure some great objectives, but the follow-up, as we mentioned, is just not there overall. They seem quite scattered about AHQ, know exactly what objective they wanted to take, what to achieve. They took an early dragon, they secured the next one from there, and then they just secured the map region by buying the vision wards coming out from the extra gold from gain from taking off dragon. Dragon gives you 190 gold. It's like a free vision ward and almost another side ward just with an additional gold slightly. So that is it for game 1 of tonight for SF5 against HQ Esports Club. We'll see HQ Esports Club take the game for the first game
coming
of tonight.
up, we have the Koala Hunters versus the Bangkok Titans right after this, so do stay tuned. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we'll have Koala Hunters versus the Bangkok Titans. I am VPCommander, with me is Sadie Tibers. Do stay tuned.
And hopefully we will be able to fix all the lag issues. The stream might go down during the commercial breaks, but just try to refresh it when you see it down, and hopefully it'll be back up and ready for the next game. It will not be so laggy. So thank you so much, and we'll be right back.